Malcolm-Jamal Warner's story begins with a name destined for significance. He was named after Malcolm X and jazz pianist Ahmad Jamal by his mother, Pamela, born in 1970. Malcolm grew up in New Jersey and later Los Angeles, where he discovered acting at a young age. By 9, he was performing in school plays and honing his craft in acting workshops, displaying a passion beyond his years. His mother noticed this spark and nurtured it, enrolling him in drama programs and guiding him through early auditions. He had even nabbed a few minor TV parts on series like Matt Houston and Fame, but nothing could prepare him for the break to come out in 1984. An opportunity of a lifetime arrived. NBC was casting a new sitcom about an upper-middle-class black family, and 13-year-old Malcolm attended the open audition. It was the final day of a nationwide search, and a hopeful young Malcolm stepped into the audition room against thousands of other kids. Malcolm's charm and talent stood out. He landed the role of Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, winning the part on that very last day overnight. The teenager was thrust into the spotlight as part of a history-making television family's sunset. Malcolm found a second home. Under the wing of TV parents Bill Cosby and Felicia Rashad, he quickly grew from a novice actor into a confident performer. He balanced school with long days of rehearsals and tapings. Guided by Pamela's steady presence as both his mother and manager, this was a 14-year-old carrying the weight of a primetime TV role. Yet he handled it with a natural ease that impressed his elders. In September 1984, America was introduced to Theo Huxtable, a lovable, sometimes mischievous teen son, and Malcolm-Jamal Warner's life would never be the same, asterisk at just 15. Malcolm-Jamal Warner became one of the most recognizable faces on television. The Cosby Show skyrocketed to #1 in the ratings, with tens of millions tuning in each week to see the lovable Theo Huxtable, Malcolm's portrayal of Theo. The well-meaning teen who learned life lessons from his parents made him America's son. He earned a Primetime Emmy nomination in 1986 for his work, an extraordinary honor for a teenager. A young Malcolm-Jamal stood shoulder to shoulder with seasoned actors, proving his talent to the world. Fame arrived swiftly. Fans would yell Theo whenever Malcolm walked down the street, a testament to how deeply his character resonated. The show's success was not just commercial, it was cultural. Prior to The Cosby Show, black families on TV were often pigeonholed, but the Huxtables changed that. The series showed a loving, professional black family tackling universal issues, helping viewers of all backgrounds relate. Malcolm later reflected, "I'm still proud of the legacy, an iconic show that had such a profound impact on first and foremost black culture, but also American culture as a young black actor." He understood he was part of something. Historics behind the scenes, Malcolm soaked up knowledge. He observed Bill Cosby's comedic timing and Felicia Rashad's poise, learning from their example. He even tried his hand at directing a few episode segments, guided by mentors who saw his potential. Despite the whirlwind of fame, Malcolm remained grounded. The show filmed in New York City, allowing him to live at home and maintain friendships with kids outside Hollywood. Pamela's steady guidance also kept him level-headed amid adulation. By the early 1990s, after 8 seasons, The Cosby Show ended its run with Malcolm-Jamal Warner firmly cemented as a household name and a trailblazer for young black actors. Asterisk when The Cosby Show ended in 1992, 22-year-old Malcolm faced a daunting question. What next? The public knew him as Theo, and breaking free of that shadow would be a challenge. Thankfully, Pamela had armed her son with wisdom early on. "Listen, baby, at some point this show is going to be over. If longevity is what you want, you have to decide what you're going to do when you're not hot." Taking her words to heart, Malcolm set out to build a lasting career rather than chase quick fame. The transition was not without bumps. Casting agents often sought him only as the Huxtable kid, and Malcolm had to prove himself all over again. He deliberately sought roles that defied typecasting, anything to show his range. In the mid-90s, he guest starred as a homeless youth untouched by an angel and took an action turn alongside Wesley Snipes in the skydiving thriller Drop Zone. He even portrayed real-life figures in HBO dramas like Tyson and the Tuskegee Airmen. These diverse roles, while not as high-profile as Theo, were critical in reshaping his image. Malcolm-Jamal refused to fade into child star obscurity. He was determined to reinvent himself, one role at a time. Before long, perseverance paid off in 1996. He landed a co-starring role in the buddy sitcom Malcolm and Eddie, playing a laid-back bar owner opposite comedian Eddie Griffin. The UPN series gave Malcolm a fresh chance to shine, this time as an adult leading man in his own right. Over for seasons, he proved his comedic chops again and attracted a new generation of fans. Off camera, he dabbled in directing and began nurturing another love, music and spoken word poetry, planting seeds for creative endeavors that would blossom later. By the late 1990s, Malcolm-Jamal Warner had navigated the perilous post-child star years, emerging with a renewed sense of purpose and a career on steady ground. Asterisk by the late 1990s. Malcolm-Jamal's career was thriving, but behind the scenes. He was about to face his greatest personal heartbreak. He had fallen in love with actress Michelle Thomas during their teen years. She played his girlfriend Justine on The Cosby Show. The two dated from 1988 until 1994 and remained close even, after parting romantically. In 1998, while Malcolm was busy filming Malcolm and Eddie, Michelle fell gravely ill with a rare cancer. He rushed to her New York hospital bedside as her condition worsened. In her final moments on December 23, 1998, the 30-year-old Thomas whispered a familiar phrase to Malcolm, "elephant juice." It was their private way of saying, "I love you." Malcolm gently replied, "elephant juice," and Michelle managed a final smile. That simple, sweet code had been there since young love. And now it was the last exchange they ever shared. Moments later, Michelle Thomas, the woman Malcolm once called the love of his life, was gone. Malcolm was devastated. He had lost someone who knew him before the fame and loved him unconditionally. The grief hit him hard, compounded by the contrast between the laughter he delivered on screen and the pain he carried off screen. Friends say Malcolm dealt with his sorrow quietly, pouring himself into work and art in the aftermath. At 28, he faced a loss few could fathom, and he did so with remarkable grace, choosing to honor Michelle's memory by moving forward with the strength she had admired in him in later interviews. Malcolm fondly remembered her talent and spirit, ensuring that her legacy as more than Justine lived on. This heartbreaking chapter of his life would forever shape the depth and empathy in Malcolm-Jamal Warner's character. Asterisk after enduring profound loss, Malcolm-Jamal gradually opened his heart again. In the years following Michelle's death, he found companionship with actress Karen Melina White, known for roles in A Different World. Their relationship, which lasted over 7 years, became a steady and private presence in his life. Away from the spotlight, Malcolm found healing and love once more. Friends noted that Karen's down-to-earth spirit was a grounding force for Malcolm during a period when he was rebuilding his life and career, unlike a flashy Hollywood romance. Their courtship stayed mostly out of tabloids, a conscious choice that allowed Malcolm to keep this part of his life sacred. Through the late 1990s and into the 2000s, as Malcolm took on new acting roles and artistic projects, Karen was often quietly by his side. The two shared a normalcy that contrasted with the frenzy of Malcolm's early fame. Whether attending industry events or simply enjoying low-key days in Los Angeles, he cherished having a partner who knew the business yet valued privacy as much as he did. Those who knew the couple observed the loving, supportive bond that helped. Malcolm fully emerged from the shadow of his past sorrows. He once hinted in interviews that this period taught him the value of a life beyond the cameras, of having someone to come home to when the applause faded. Yet by the mid-2000s, however, that chapter gently came to a close. Malcolm and Karen went their separate ways without public drama, ending their long romance on amicable terms. In the years that followed, Malcolm remained optimistic about love. In 2011, he surprised fans by stepping out with a new partner, one who was herself a familiar face. That woman was Oscar-winning actress Regina King, an old friend from his youth. A new love story was about to unfold, bringing with it both great joy and painful lessons. Malcolm-Jamal's romance with Regina King began like a storybook. The two had been friends since their youth in Hollywood, and by 2011 their friendship blossomed into love for a time. They were a picture-perfect pair to respected actors who understood each other's world. Regina, a star of films and TV since childhood herself, seemed an ideal match for Malcolm. They kept their relationship fairly private, but fans were delighted to see Theo Huxtable dating Brenda from 227. It was as if the beloved child star veterans had found solace in each other. Yet this love story did not have a happy ending. In early 2013, the couple quietly split, a breakup that Regina later revealed was far more painful than people knew. She said Malcolm chose Valentine's Day to end things, sending her flowers with a note that read, "I still love you," even as he was breaking up with her, feeling blindsided and hurt. Regina admitted she angrily threw the flowers in the trash and cursed him out in grief. What an ending! A Valentine's heartbreak that left Regina King furious and crushed. The media caught wind of her remarks in a 2015 interview, briefly casting Malcolm in a harsh light as the ex who mishandled her heart. It was a rare instance of negative press in his personal life, and Malcolm remained silent publicly, choosing to let time heal the wounds in the years that followed. Malcolm-Jamal found what he called the best part of my life, true love and stability with a woman who would become his wife. He kept her name out of headlines, but he couldn't help but gush about their bond. "We've been together almost 10 years, and never a harsh word between us," he revealed, describing a partnership built on mutual respect and understanding. In 2017, the couple welcomed a daughter, and Malcolm embraced fatherhood with open arms. He often spoke of the profound love he felt for his little girl and the joy of watching her grow. He even found himself re-watching old Cosby Show episodes with her on his lap, marveling that the show was still timeless and relatable decades later. After many ups and downs in love, Malcolm-Jamal Warner entered his 50s as a devoted husband and proud father, a man who had finally found his peace. Asterisk used as Malcolm-Jamal reached a contented point in life, an external storm loomed, one tide. To the very show that made him famous, in 2014, decades worth of sexual assault allegations against Bill Cosby came to light, shocking the world and permanently tarnishing the Cosby Show's legacy. For Malcolm, who had long seen Cosby as a mentor and father figure, the news was agonizing. It was devastating to watch the man who had been a guiding force in his life face such disgrace. In early interviews, Malcolm didn't defend Cosby's alleged actions but acknowledged the personal turmoil. It was painful to hear any woman talk about sexual assault. "Just as painful to watch my friend and mentor go through this." He stressed that the Bill Cosby he knew had done untold good for television and the black community. But he couldn't speak to the accusations themselves, as the legal fallout grew. Cosby's 2018 conviction overturned in 2021 and additional accusers coming forward. Malcolm and his Cosby Show castmates quietly suffered the collateral damage. Reruns of the beloved sitcom were pulled from networks amid the scandal, cutting off royalty income and public goodwill. In 2023, Malcolm candidly stated that if not for Cosby's actions, "We could have made a lot of money. We'd be making a killing right now with cast reunions or reboots." Still, he refused to sink into bitterness. When asked if he felt resentment, he replied, "No, not resentment. Just that whole situation is so layered." Malcolm walked a delicate line, condemning the behavior attributed to Cosby while also honoring the positive legacy of their show. "I can't defend him or his actions at all, but I also can't throw him under the bus completely," he explained, noting the complexity and many shades of gray involved. He mourned the way the scandal erased so much of the Cosby Show's cultural contribution, calling it heartbreaking to see the ship go down the way it went down. Yet he remained proud of the show's impact on Black America and beyond, often reminding people that the importance of what the Cosby Show accomplished cannot be erased by one man's wrongdoing. In facing this controversy, Malcolm-Jamal demonstrated the same poise and thoughtfulness that had carried him through other challenges, standing firm in his values while navigating the fallout of a legend's fall from grace asterisk throughout his life in the public eye. Malcolm-Jamal Warner managed a rare feat. He largely avoided the scandals and pitfalls that often plagued child stars. Apart from the brief media stir over Regina King's comments, his name rarely surfaced in tabloid headlines. He was conscious of his image and privacy. For instance, when fans would call out Theo, expecting him to forever be that teenager, Malcolm would gently correct them. "My name is Malcolm. not out of ingratitude, but to assert his own identity. Some misconstrued this as attitude. But in truth, he cherished the Cosby Show even as he outgrew the role of Theo. He simply didn't want to be trapped in it. His close friends attest that Malcolm remained humble and kind. Look at the body of work he did, and you never heard about a scandal. He was one of the good ones. One family friend said emphatically, Malcolm also made a deliberate effort to shield his personal life from gossip. When he married and became a father, he chose not to publicize the names of his wife or daughter, sharing only the occasional glimpse of family life on his terms. He has the rest of her life for that life. Right now, I just want her to be, he wrote, explaining why he never posted his little girl's face on social media. Still, he spoke openly about the joy they gave him, saying he wanted people to know that it is possible to be happy and to have love. By keeping his loved ones out of the limelight, Malcolm avoided the rumor mill and let his work speak for itself. That in his later years, Malcolm-Jamal embraced reinvention. He had already branched into directing and music, remarkably winning a Grammy Award in 2015 for a spoken word performance with a jazz ensemble, and he continued to explore new creative outlets. He formed a jazz-funk band, the Biological Misfits, and performed poetry at festivals. In 2024, he launched a podcast, Not All Hood, using his voice to discuss social issues and uplift the black community, having relocated to Atlanta 4. A quieter life. He thrived outside the Hollywood bubble. Far from fading away, Malcolm-Jamal was always evolving. Actor, director, poet, musician, mentor. By 2025, he had built a legacy defined not by scandal or hype, but by steady growth, integrity, and an endless curiosity to reinvent himself. Asterisk in July 2025. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was in a place of contentment. He had just turned 54 and was enjoying a well-earned family vacation in Costa Rica, a trip filled with laughter, surf, and quality time with his wife and young daughter. On the afternoon of July 20th, the family visited Playa Cocos, a picturesque beach on the country's Caribbean coast. Malcolm, an avid swimmer, was playing with his daughter at the water's edge under the warm sun. It was the kind of blissful day the Warners had hoped for, until fate intervened round at 10 p.m. Malcolm left his little girl safely onshore and waded into the sea with a male friend for a brief swim. Without warning, a powerful rip current seized them. Bystanders on the beach soon noticed the two men struggling against the surging waters. Several surfers and a volunteer lifeguard sprang into action. Rushing into the waves, one rescuer managed to help Malcolm's friend back toward safety, while others pulled Malcolm to shore as quickly as possible. On the sand, frantic efforts to revive him began immediately. Paramedics from the Costa Rican Red Cross arrived and joined bystanders in performing CPR for nearly 45 minutes. The beach, moments ago filled with carefree vacationers, fell silent as everyone willed Malcolm to hold on. Despite the heroic rescue attempt, Malcolm-Jamal Warner could not be resuscitated. He was pronounced dead at the scene, the victim of an accidental drowning caused by asphyxia from submersion. Word of the tragedy spread quickly from Costa Rica to the United States. That evening, the shocking news broke on headlines. The beloved actor who had grown up before America's eyes was gone. Fans and colleagues alike were stunned. How could a man so full of life be lost so suddenly in a cruel twist of irony? Malcolm had spent his final moments in a place he loved, doing what he loved, basking in family and nature's embrace. The stage was now set for an outpouring of grief and for a celebration of a lost legends. Life asterisk the news of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing triggered an outpouring of grief and love from around the world. Within hours, social media swelled with tributes from fans who remembered growing up with Theo Huxtable and from peers who had worked beside Malcolm through the decades. Former co-stars were among the first to honor him. Eddie Griffin, his what-time sitcom partner, affectionately called Malcolm my big little brother, a testament to the sibling-like bond they shared off-screen. Kashir Knight Pulliam, who had played little Rudy Huxtable to his Theo, wrote through tears, I lost my big brother, but I gained an angel. I love you. I miss you. She vowed to watch over our girls, meaning Malcolm's wife and daughter, as if part of her own. Family, asterisk. Asterisk Bill Cosby, informed of his television son's death, was said to be devastated through a spokesperson. Cosby noted that Malcolm had died doing what he loved best, spending time with his family in a bow. Trifle Place, he reportedly reminisced, with Felicia Rashad about Malcolm's ever-present professionalism and the joy he brought to set. Other colleagues from shows like Suits and The Resident shared anecdotes of Malcolm's warmth and generosity. A spirit on and off camera. To so many who knew him, Malcolm was not just a talented performer, but a genuine friend who radiated positivity. Perhaps the most moving tribute came from Malcolm's mother, Pamela. In a heartfelt statement, she revealed her solace in knowing her son's final moments were peaceful. He was at peace and, more importantly, he did not suffer. This was his time. His mission on earth had been completed, she wrote. Those words offered a measure of comfort, a belief that Malcolm's incredible journey, though cut short, had fulfilled its purposes as the documentary closes. We are left with the image of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's enduring legacy. From the little boy who captivated America's heart to the man who used his art and voice to uplift others, Malcolm's life was one of impact and inspiration, though we say goodbye to a lost legend. We do not truly lose him. His laughter, his lessons, and his love live on in all who he touched. The world will remember Malcolm-Jamal Warner not only for the iconic roles he played, but for the dignity, resilience, and heart with which he lived his extraordinary journey.